Hi guys, I'm Charmy, welcome back to my channel. Today I show you how to make beat for OWA OWA by Lil Tecca. This beat was made by Lil Tecca, Tats Taylor and Lil Tecca. So let's start with the breakdown. The production is really simple, as you can see it's just 10 elements. Obviously, I'm not 100% sure about all these sounds because you can't really hear the synths in this song because the vocals and the drums are taking most of the space. So this was my attempt to recreate most of the synths without really hearing them. I think the first one is like a brassy saw patch that is playing the chords. So I'm using a saw wave and then this wave from analog in Serum, 5 voices and detune, a little bit of noise, and then we have the filter moving with this LFO that is set as an envelope. And as you can see, I'm controlling the peak of the filter with velocity. With this modulation, I can create more punchy notes. So the first 2 chords are more punchy than the last one. You can see the modulation moving with velocity. As you can see, with the first synth, they are playing the root note and the third 1 octave higher. Let's move on to the second sound. It's just a bass, so I'm using a sub -2 sine wave and 2 saw waves with 5 voices. No effects, and then I'm using the same concept on the LFO1 to control the cutoff. With the bass, they are just playing the root note. And then for the last synth sound for the chords, I made this simple saw patch using 2 saw waves, a little bit of detune, a filter, and some effects to create this sound. Pretty much just a classic saw wave with a little bit of filtering. These are the notes for this synth. And with this lead, they're just playing the 5th. And I also made this slidey bass using pretty much the same concept without the filter. So it's just 2 saw waves, detune, filter, and a little bit of EQing. And obviously the portamento to create this slide effect. And this is the full result. Talking about music theory, they are playing a 1-2-7 in the G sharp mixolydian mode. So these are the chords. And it's pretty much just a C sharp major scale, but they're starting on the 5th chord. Within all these years that I've been making remakes, this is the first time actually that I'm remaking a beat that is using this type of mode. I don't know why, but it's not really popular in hip-hop music, but it has a really cool flavor, so I invite you to try it. So let's move on to the last 2 sounds. I'm using this piano from Xenology. It's a really classic piano, but it's important to apply effects. So I'm using a beat crush with the Decimort, an EQing, a little bit of quarter delay, reverb, and more beat crush. And they're just playing these notes. So it's like a small accent arpeggio. Then we have the lead. I'm using this lead from Serum, pretty much just a classic saw lead, 4 voices, a little bit of filtering, distortion, flanger, chorus and reverb. And I'm also layering it with this guitar from Xenology. And it's a pretty simple lead with portamento. I'm also applying more EQing and reverb. Then we have the sample from Video Kill the Radio Star. And I'm applying a little bit of delay, quarter delay, EQing, and a little bit of reverb. So this is the final result with all the sounds. So let's move on to the drums. Pretty simple, clap on the 3. I'm using this clap with a triangle, boosted and clipped, and also pitched down by 2 semitones. Then a classic hi-hat, pitched down. Pretty simple pattern, kick. I'm also clipping and pitching this down, and then the classic spin 08. And then we just have a little bit of variation at the end. And as you can see, also the arrangement is pretty simple. They're pretty much just playing the same loop over and over, and then they're adding the lead. And the vocals are played every 4 bars. So this is the final result. just adding an EQ with a lot of Q, so a lot of resonance. That's all for this video. Smash a like and subscribe if you liked it. I will leave all my links in the description if you want to support me. I have a Patreon page where I upload all the effort piece from my remakes, Instagram if you want to follow me, and Beatstarts if you want to check out my beats or drum hits. Bye and see you in the next video.